Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. There isn't a perfect skincare routine either, and I feel like throughout, skinfluencers alike, including myself, we always have these set rules, these things that everyone should be doing, hacks and tips on how to get the best skin you can ever have. But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of us don't even do it. Often the people dishing out the advice are the people who don't even follow their own advice. But also on my own personal skincare journey, I've discovered things that rules and must-dos that just don't work for me and things I don't want to do because it's impractical, it's not realistic. And today I want to share some of those skincare rules that I no longer follow, I don't follow, I'll never follow because either they're irrelevant to me or they just don't seem relevant to me. Let's start with the first one, sleeping on my back. One of the main reasons that people say you should sleep on your back is because you avoid getting those fine lines and wrinkles prematurely that you get from being squashed on the side of your face on a pillow. Your natural oils, your sweat, your sebum can go into the pillow and break you out. There is such a craze, in fact, of sleeping on your back in order to beautify your skin that there are dedicated pillows for that exact purpose, to help you do just that. I've tried these pillows for about 6 months. I tried to sleep on my back, I tried to sleep on my side with these pillows. You can get one that helps you sleep on your back that kind of cradles your whole face, right? So you physically can't do this. You get ones that you could put in between your legs and they come out on the side of your legs so they stop you turning over. There's even like normal size pillows with a hole in one side that if you are a side sleeper, it kind of like supports your head here so that there's no pressure on your cheek. But here's the reasons I can't use them. First of all, that side sleeping one, very uncomfortable. The back sleeping ones, one, if I lie on my back, I snore so bad and I wake myself up. I have never had a full night's sleep lying on my back. 2, I'm scared of swallowing my tongue when I lay on my back. I don't know if that's a thing, but I swear like a childhood friend told me that their dad once almost swallowed their tongue in their sleep and their mum had to get it out with a pen. And ever since then I've been terrified or dying by swallowing my tongue. I don't want to die that way. Third of all, a kind of weird reason, when I sleep on my back, I get terrible nightmares and sleep paralysis. I always have, and I don't want to do it. But then I've been a side sleeper all my life. And I'm going to be honest, my face I'm doing fine. Like, my face is fine. I'm not seeing any wrinkles. I'm not seeing any fine lines. The natural wrinkles that are in my forehead, I get Botox for anyway. They're wrinkles I've had since I was like 14 from expression. And listen, if I'm just gonna have one side that's wrinklier than the other, I don't care. I'd rather have a much better night's sleep, which is just as important for the health of your skin, is a good night's sleep. On that note, let's talk about silk pillowcases. God, I hate silk in general. I hate silk. I hate it. Go through any skincare hack video and it's always like, you should keep your phone clean. You should wash your hands. You should be sleeping with a silk or sateen pillowcase. The idea is that they're less absorbent. They absorb less of our natural oils, sweat, oils from products, anything that can potentially break us out. They're also more gentler on the skin, so they're not going to like rough up the skin. They're actually good if you kind of want to keep your hair like silky smooth and stuff and not frizzy. But I hate the feeling of silk on my skin. It's tickly. It's like a light touch from someone that I don't want to be touching me. With pillows in particular, once I've done my skincare routine and my face hits that pillow, it feels wet, it feels slimy, and it's sticky. I like to go to bed glazed and shiny and well moisturized, but with a silk pillowcase, I stick to the pillowcase. Isn't that the whole point of what it's not meant to do? In summer when it's really hot, and you can't find a cool side of your pillow and your face feels hot and sweaty and sticky. That's how silk pillowcases make me feel all year round. And a certain brand keeps emailing me and my manager and we keep telling them we don't want to work with them and they're very persistent. And that also annoys me too. But honestly, again, I'd rather swap a good night's sleep for having potentially better skin. Here's an odd one, but I don't follow a dedicated set routine for exfoliation. And by that I mean, often it's like when you're starting out, do it once a week, then twice a week, 3 times a week. Work yourself up to kind of like using it, a couple times a week. And often the back of the packaging of any kind of liquid exfoliant will say to use it 2 to 3 times a week. And it's kind of the same with actives. I feel like as a general rule of thumb, following that is a really good idea to see how well your skin does tolerate exfoliants. But I think after using actives for so long, and using skincare for so long, so many different types of skincare, we kind of get to know our skin, what it likes, what it doesn't like, what it truly benefits from, and what you can kind of cut back on a little bit. And for me, exfoliation is one of those things. And honestly, it's one of my favorite steps, despite me not really doing it that often anymore. You know, I started to notice that my skin was actually looking a little bit more irritated, my rosacea especially, even with lower percentage exfoliants. I still use things like Glow Recipes, that one, what's it called? The Watermelon BHA PHA CosRx is one, on and off as toners, you know, but they're very light and gentle exfoliants. That's kind of all I go for nowadays, but in no particular amount, if that makes sense. I think exfoliation is necessary. When I was younger and I was oily, I had blackheads, I was constantly breaking out. Exfoliation changed my skin. My pores didn't look that clogged. My sebum was getting more regulated. You know, it made a real difference, chemical exfoliation. But now, as I'm older, I'm in my 30s now, I can see and I can kind of tell that my skin doesn't need as much exfoliation as I needed back then. When I look at my skin, I'm like, it's looking a little bit bad or rough. It's usually because I'm dehydrated more than anything. And honestly, that's kind of a good point in the sense that I use exfoliants now for a different reason than I did in my 20s, than I do in my 30s, and probably what I'm going to need as I get older. I don't have issues with skin texture right now. I haven't for a long time. Tone, sometimes oiliness in the summer, so I exfoliate a little bit more in the summer, but I just don't exfoliate as much as maybe is recommended. Sometimes I can go weeks without exfoliating. Sometimes I'll exfoliate twice in a week. Sometimes I'll try and exfoliate once every 2 weeks. I feel is like my main thing. And honestly, my skin's fine. My skin's absolutely fine. Again, though, it's very personal. And I feel like these initial kind of suggestions are good when you're first getting into skincare and you're discovering what works for you, what doesn't in your own skin. And then you can kind of just judge by what your skin kind of needs. The next skincare rule I kind of don't follow as religiously anymore is layering your skincare in the right order. I discussed this before. How to layer your skincare became a big thing for what I feel like 2 reasons. One, the rise of actives and percentages and serums and different single ingredient serums, because we didn't know where to layer these, where an exfoliant came in this routine, when you should tone, when you should moisturize, where does your sunscreen come in this, you know? But also the rise of the Korean 10-step beauty routine, skincare routine. People were introduced to new words, new products like essences, lotions. Serums weren't actually that big like 5 years ago here in the UK. So layering became a really important thing. And again, I think the general consensus of layering from lightest to thickest is perfect. It's great. It definitely works. However, there are so many nuances within that layering routine, and I think that comes with the rise of kind of like made up product types, you know, kind of thing. Made up words, made up, like, had the other day? I had a serum toner the other day. So to anyone, they'd be like, when do I use this? When really a lot of these products are the same thing. Toners, essences, serums nowadays, they all contain the same shit. And when it comes to science, there is no real evidence that layering in a particular order is better than any other order, you know? Of course, moisturizer and sunscreen last. Well, there's even nuances there. Definitely sunscreen last, because that should be the last thing you put on your skin. It needs to form that kind of like protective layer, you know? And of course, cleanser first. But in between, you have too many nuances, you know? Nothing's going to happen if you apply a toner after your serums. In fact, it'll probably hydrate your skin quite nicely, ready for your moisturizer. The sandwich method is a great example of using an active after a moisturizer to kind of like lessen the potential irritation, but your skin benefiting from it absolutely fine. Another example is retinol. I will apply retinol before a toner because you should be applying retinol to dry skin. The same with exfoliants. Some serums have exfoliants in, you know, so there's so many different nuances, and nothing's going to happen if you use a serum after your moisturizer. And whilst I do personally prefer to still layer my products from thinnest to thickest, nothing's going to happen if I use my eye cream after my moisturizer, or if I forget a serum that I really wanted to use with a good active in and I put it over my moisturizer. Realistically, nothing's going to happen, but use your sunscreen last. The last rule that I don't follow, and it's a good one, is to simplify your skincare routine. No, I won't be doing that. I can't. It's good advice, but I physically can't be doing this. However, I have heard a range of opinions from skincare experts, range from chemists to scientists to dermatologists, that some people say it's not how much you use, it's what you use. Some others say less is more. And yeah, when my skin goes to shit, I will use a lot less. But physically, I can't do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a job. And I'm saying this because I get this in the comments as well. Some people are like, why don't you just use less skincare? Why don't you stick to the products you know you love? Because it's my job. I do have a set routine and have a set time limit when it comes to trialing products. There's a list, there's an order. I'm not just chucking on stuff on my face and hoping for the best, And a comment I get is all you need is a cleanser, a moisturizer, and sunscreen. Yeah, you do. It's the very basics. But imagine if every video was like, my 3-step evening routine, my favorite 3 products that you see in every video. That's not entertainment. That's boring content. And you see that with dermatologists too. A lot of dermatologists are now, whether they like it or not, considered influencers. And they're constantly testing new skincare, reviewing it, posting their favorites, because it is now part of their job. But they will still recommend you do the less is more. And I think their idea is not for you to buy all the skincare that we're consuming, because that's its own issue in its own right. But it's a kind of like, if you do want a minimal routine, what's a good serum for you? See what people review and pick that one serum, I will say I have taken a step back from constantly cycling through new skincare every 4 to 6 weeks. For the last 4 years, I've been doing that for. And I've added things like reaction videos, commentary style videos to this channel to give my skin a break, quite honestly. And when it comes to sponsors, I've been opting for brands that I've already used, I already know I love, because I don't want to have to add them to my testing, These are products that I already know I love, so I don't have to start the whole testing process again, unless it's been reformulated, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, sometimes it's 100% necessary to simplify your routine. I did a video where I talked about if I wasn't a skincare YouTuber, what my routine would be, and it'd be some very specific products. But unfortunately, I am ultimately a skincare reviewer, a product reviewer. We like to try different products. It brings us joy to try different products and buy new products. So this is next to impossible for me, unfortunately. But also not unfortunately, I enjoy it. Let me know some skincare rules that people say you must do that you just don't do in the comments down below. No judgy, we won't be judging. You can watch some more general light entertainment videos here, some more general light entertainment here, and I'll see you over there.